of you in here love to eat meat? Well, today I'm here to tell you how a plant-based diet is better than a meat-based diet. Okay, humans raised and slaughtered around 74 billion animals in 2014. And they also kill between 1 and 3 trillion sea animals every year. And in the last 50 years, global meat consumption has actually doubled. So can you imagine how much more meat we're eating? If it doubled in the last 50 years, that's a lot of meat consumption. Okay. And also, what about the poor animals that suffer in these slaughterhouses that's overcrowded, that they mistreat the animals? A lot of these, they don't follow regulations on animal cruelty. And because I know I worked at a place where you kill turkeys, and we had to follow certain rules. We couldn't mistreat the turkeys. It was animal welfare, or we can get in trouble and get fined for it. And a lot of these places, they don't follow any kind of structure, any kind of rules or regulations, and it makes it hard on the animals. And this shows you this how we should not inflict pain or death on any animals. We should always treat animals humanely, and we should abolish animal use. A lot of people, now vegans are more so set on, that's many of the reasons why they stop eating meat and dairy products, because of the abuse on animals. And it's a big issue when it comes to meat consumption, or how people view. Okay, it also affects our global warming. It can it affects our ecosystem, and it's making our earth, it's making us use up our resources, and it's making us by gas emissions and certain chemicals used like for fertilizer and things, is messing up our actual ecosystem. And I'll get into more detail on that in a moment. And also, health-wise, if you consume a lot of red meat, they say it's a high risk of getting cancer. So, if you do consume meat, make sure that you cook it at a proper temperature, and that you cook it thoroughly, especially pork, because pork can have like little organisms and stuff in there that can make you sick if it's not cooked thoroughly. So always clean and wash your meat too, because a lot of times in these slaughterhouses and the places where they cut the meats up, they'll drop them on the floor and pick them up and just pin them and package them like that. So you always want to make sure, if you are a meat eater, to wash your meats thoroughly and clean them, and cook them thoroughly also, so you can cook off any bacteria or any bad things that can be on the meat. Okay, now let's get into our ecosystem. We have deforestation. That's when we cut down the trees in our forests to make more land for grazing for these animals that we're going to be raising on this land to slaughter for us to consume. So, and that's messing up our ecosystem, because when we cut down the forest, we're driving all those animals that actually live in the forest. We're cutting off their lifespan and making them extinct because they have nowhere else to go. We're using up all the land. So that's where it's like a domino effect as far as the ecosystem. Okay, we also have soil erosion, which is mainly in this area that we live in, the Midwestern area. We have rain that run down, and from the rivers overflowing, because we have a lot of floods here, and that'll flood our fields and it'll start eroding them. So, and you'll lose a lot of crops like that, and you'll lose a lot of animals as well, because the flooding kills them as well. We also have what we call water depletion. Water depletion is when instead of using the water to go to our U.S. cities, is used to irrigate cornfields, soybean fields, and also alfalfa fields. So most of our water is being used to irrigate all them fields of that land, and it's cutting off our supply that could be used for our population, for us to drink and cook with and clean with, and to survive with. So the water depletion is there because if we keep going the way we're going, we're going to eventually run out of our water supply, because the ecosystem are in our ice caps are starting to melt and dry up, and it's going to be the end of the earth eventually if we don't get figure out another way of doing things. The water pollution. Water can get polluted by animal manure, also by the pesticides that's used in the fields for the grains, the corns, the soybeans, herbicides and pesticides. And they can run off in the fields, and the animals graze in the fields, which when they graze and they're eating the pesticides, they're eating all that harmful stuff, they're eating their own manure, and then we'll go ahead and slaughter those animals and ingest those, consume those ourselves. So we're consuming all that nastiness and all them germs and diseases that they are consuming from all the pesticides and all the runoff, guilt and trash that be in there. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of nothing else. Then we also go to our greenhouse gas emission. That comes from animal agriculture, which I just pretty much broke down. That's really all of it, because the animals actually give off carbon dioxide. They give off another gas, so it can't come to my mind right now. But they emit those gases into the air as well. And also the farm equipment that's used to take care of these farms, they let off a lot of emission into the air and into our atmosphere. And the animals eat these the animals eat the graze these lands that has with the fertilizer, and they eat it with the fertilizer that's fertilized with ammonia, and the natural breakdown of manure. The ammonia in the environment actually breaks down from the natural breakdown of manure in dead plants and animals. So in transition, why should we eat a plant-based diet? For one, it'll stop the torture of our animals, as well as it will stop the extinction of some of them. It'll stop the deforestation as well, because we wouldn't have to cut down a lot of the trees to have the land for them. Also, we should eat the plant-based diet because it helps boost our immune system. It's good for our bodies. And it helps us lose weight. It helps us fight off cancer, because the red meat it puts us at risk for cancer. I suggest that we go to an alkaline diet, because the alkaline helps adjust the pH level. According to Kelly Bramlett Blackburn, the alkaline diet is what you need to know. States, following the alkaline diet may help you lose weight and reduce the risk of cancer. According to Maria Petzel, an MD at Anderson, senior clinical dietitian, also states that the alkaline diet is based on theory that some foods can cause your body to cause your body to have more acidity in it. Now, according to this chart, you can see where sickness and all that can develop from having high acidity in your body, and stress agent, and it comes from acidic foods. It also comes from red meat and meat products. And the more alkaline you have in your body, the more healthier you become. So that is why I suggest that we all switch to an alkaline diet, because it will improve our overall health. I would like to thank y'all for listening, and I hope that one day everybody would eventually go to eating our natural plants.